Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Couch Coaches. He's Jeff. He's Brian. I'm Denny. And we know sports. Due to fan feedback, we've decided to switch things up a little bit. We're going to break things into segments so you can watch the parts you want to watch. So tonight, we're going to talk about last week's recaps and next week's picks. Diving right into last week's games, I am going to talk about the Minnesota Vikings versus the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys beat the Minnesota Vikings 40-3 in Minnesota.
Dominated them. Destroyed them. Sent that crowd home silent.
Here's what I think about that game as just a person that's not a fan of either team. I think that Minnesota maybe just isn't quite ready yet. You know, I think they're a little bit of a paper tiger, as they had 7 of their 8 wins were by less than 1 touchdown. They obviously beat Buffalo a couple weeks ago, and everybody was all excited about that. But now they come against a team like Dallas, who's a solid team, and they just annihilated them.
How'd that taste in your mouth saying that?
Not real good.
The thing I take away from that game is that Dallas goes as far as their defense takes them. If their defense is playing really well, like they were, Micah Parsons had a monster game.
He did.
Marcus
Lawrence had a good game.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins couldn't get nothing going. He had
But
no time.
they shut the run down,
Yes,
too.
they
I mean,
should.
Dalvin Cook couldn't get a yard without getting hit.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is Kirk Cousins didn't have time. He didn't have time to find anybody. And we found out if he doesn't have time, he can't get it done.
Dallas owned the defensive line and the offensive line. They could do whatever they wanted all night long because they had time on offense and they gave no time on defense.
I tell you, my favorite thing about that game is probably almost the whole first half. I was driving and listened to it on the radio and listening to Paul Allen, the voice of the Vikings. The guy is amazing. He is a homer from the word go, and he lives and dies by every play that the Vikings have.
True announcer.
I saw, of course, the big popular video was last week when they played Buffalo and his takes on what happened, and it was so funny when they didn't score right at 4th down, and he said about Buffalo, lucky suckers.
By the 4th quarter of that Dallas game, though, he had to be pretty.
Oh, he was upset in the first half about that game. And the funny part is he gets so excited when Minnesota does something well, and the other team is like, well, another touchdown for Dallas.
The problem with Dallas is, one week they show up flat. The next week, they show up like they should be playing for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And this was a week, there's not many teams in the league that would have beat them.
Yeah.
The thing is, me and Jeff had the conversation about this off camera. The thing that Dak Prescott reminds me of, and the way this team's built right now, is very similar to how they were built under Tony Romo.
Absolutely.
They win huge games when they shouldn't, and then they lose the games they shouldn't.
Yeah.
They're loaded, but then they drop off the face of the earth once in a while.
Sometimes watching the team now, you think CeeDee Lamb drops passes that he shouldn't drop wide open, and he'll drop a sure touchdown.
That's been his MO, though.
Yeah.
But the thing is, then he'll turn around
Before
and
the
make
season
an
started,
immaculate
Brian and I argued about this because he's all over CeeDee Lamb. Oh, he's a great wide receiver. And I kept telling him, that man drops balls. He drops balls he's not supposed to.
I think CeeDee Lamb's a great receiver too, but I agree with Jeff. He does drop balls he's not supposed to.
Yes.
I mean, he will. If you're his head coach, he will make you mad. He will piss you off. Because plays that he should make, he doesn't. And then a play where Dak Prescott overthrows it, he gets one finger on it, taps it back to his other arm, kicks it up over the guy's head and pulls it down. And you're like, how did he get all that? Looks like a hacky sack player.
Yeah.
My takeaway from this game is we will see when the playoffs hit.
Yeah.
What happens? Because they can look good all they want right now.
They
But
can.
when they get into the playoffs, Dallas does Dallas things.
They do.
Totally.
And we're going to come back to that. But Dallas, if they plan to go deep in the playoffs, have to win division and get that home field for at least 1 or 2 games.
Not happening.
You know, Dallas.
I know you're saying that.
Dallas lives and dies by the run, and when Zeke and Tony Pollard can get balls and get running, they're hard to stop. They're hard to stop.
Pollard is a dual threat. I mean, he can catch out of the
Yep.
backfield. He
Yep.
can run. He can hit the gaps. He'll run you over. He'll run around you, and he pass blocks excellently.
Yeah, yeah. One more thing about Paul Allen that just cracked me up is he called him Dakota Prescott. He never called him Dak. It was always Dakota.
It's like Jeff.
Yeah. So moving on, let's talk about Jeff. Who do you have for a game this week?
Well, I just want to point out New England, without Tom Brady, Belichick has got them working on all cylinders. And he's winning the same way that he always did. Defense, defense, defense.
Let's
He
not
stops the run. He gets sacks. He pressures the quarterback. He forces you to make mistakes. And his team will take advantage of those mistakes.
The thing is about that whole game, it was 3-3 from the first quarter.
Yeah.
All the way till the last play of the
Absolutely.
game. And then the thing is, though, if the Jets quarterback would actually take ownership for his
But
act.
the
Oh my
Jets have been
gosh.
doing things all year long.
The thing is, though, he
Let's just back up 1 second. Jeff's game for the week is New England versus the Jets. New England beat the Jets 10-3. Sorry.
10-3. Yeah, by the way, 10-3.
the thing is, though, when he was asked, "Do you think you let the team down?" his answer was no. How do you say no?
Yeah.
That defense pretty much pitched a shutout the whole
Yeah,
game.
they did. And do you know why, though? Why he said no is because he got sacked 6 times. He got hit 14 times. He was rushed 14 times on top of the 6 sacks. That man was running for his life. By the 3rd quarter, his head was on a swivel. He knew he had 2.5 seconds. He had 1 receiver, maybe 2 to look at.
I'm campaigning for Flacco. No Flacco.
I don't disagree with that.
I don't
He
disagree
was-
with that.
Zach Wilson was 9 of 23 for 77
Yep.
yards. 9 of 23 for 77 yards as a pro quarterback.
That's not acceptable.
He was looking for who was going to hit him next.
And in the second half, the whole team, the whole Jets team had 2 yards of offense
All
for the
3
whole half.
All 3 defensive linemen for the New England Patriots had hits on him.
Yeah.
I mean, when your nose tackle in a 3-4 defense is getting hits on the quarterback, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
What I found out about that game, though, is that Wilson's not ready.
No.
He's not ready
No.
to be the guy.
I did
not.
listen to Robert Saleh, some of his press conferences since the game. He talks about, I don't know if I'm going to keep him as my quarterback. I might change. I'm
Well,
not
they-
sure what I'm going to do.
They said that they're not standing behind him right now.
They're not.
They're not sure
And-
what they're going to do.
But they have a veteran backup. I mean, Flacco,
Yeah, he's won a Super Bowl.
he's won a Super Bowl. He's played in those games. He's fought wars on that field. He's been in games where he gets hit over and over again and still performed. Zach Wilson showed that when he's under pressure, he gets nervous and he doesn't know what to do.
You know what Zach Wilson showed this week? That he's a child.
Yeah,
That's what he
Yeah,
showed.
exactly. That's
He's
exactly.
He's a
right.
college quarterback put into an NFL.
Yes.
You know, you look at guys like even Josh Allen, for instance. When they lost, he's like, "It's on me. I got to do better. I got to be better at quarterback.
Yeah.
I got to make plays that I need to make."
Zach Wilson,
Zach Wilson.
you got to give me more time.
Did you let down the defense? No,
Yeah.
was his answer. After 9 of 23 for 77 yards.
That's going to split your locker room.
Absolutely.
Right there.
But the reason I want to talk about this game is because New England is going to be getting ready for the playoffs. They're making a playoff run.
Nah.
I'm not
They're making
so,
a playoff run.
I'm not so sure I disagree with that. You know, but God, why didn't the Jets just kick it out of bounds? I
Yeah.
mean, and maybe it's easy to say now that the game's
know,
over.
retrospect-
Hindsight's 2020.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, they're in the heat of the moment. It's not like he's Denver's coach that was making bad decision after bad decision. This is really the first week that you're looking at it and glaringly see, God, time management was a problem in this one.
And it's not like Devin Hester's back there returning the kick. There's some guy that nobody even knows. I don't even
He's a
still don't
rookie.
know what his name is.
He's a rookie.
And he returned for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So-
This Belichick
So good for
doing
him.
Belichick things. So.
Absolutely. Belichick winning the Belichick way.
Yeah.
Ugly.
All right, well, let's move on. Brian, who are you going to talk about this week?
I'm going to talk about that Philly Indy game. And the reason I'm going to talk about that game is that Philly, when it comes down to the clutch moments, they proved last week that they can pull it out. And they
nothing.
yes, they did.
Stop it.
They were down
playing literally one of the
13-3.
worst teams in the NFL.
That is on a high right now.
On a high.
They're on a high with a coach that
If
has
they were
no
a
experience.
legitimate
Was
number
doing the
one
same
seed,
thing that we were last week.
if they were a legitimate number one seed, they should have destroyed Indianapolis from the front
The
to the
thing is,
end.
and I've told you from the beginning that teams that can run the ball are going to give Philly trouble. And that's exactly what happened. Jonathan Taylor had 84 yards on 22 carries and a touchdown.
Yeah.
They just tried to run the clock out on that game and keep the lead.
And they almost got it done.
They almost got it done.
They did
God,
almost
I'm
get
so
it done.
Come on.
However, Jalen Hurts did what he had to do
Yep.
to win the game.
And honestly, he did. He did do what he had to do.
He's playing at an MVP level right now.
Well, that's going a little far.
He is.
That's going way
if
far.
it wasn't for Jalen Hurts, they would've lost that
stop
game.
it.
They would've
That
lost
doesn't
it.
make him an MVP level just because he won a game against Indianapolis.
He's playing at an MVP level. The good quarterbacks and the guys that are MVPs will win doing what they have to do to win.
Philadelphia won an ugly game against a bad team. Let's not get overzealous about what it means.
And-
they are still a paper-thin number one seed right now.
And I agree with that. They still are number one seed.
They still
And-
are.
And, they do the things they have to do to win games.
And they have.
And they signed Ndamukong Suh.
They
And
did.
they're trying to get that run
Linval
game
Joseph,
stopped.
yeah.
They're trying to get that run game stopped. It's
They're,
going to
they're,
take a
they're
little bit.
trying to address their deficiencies.
Yes.
Yep.
They are going to load up for a playoff run.
But MVP for Hurts, stop it.
Come on now.
Stop it.
All
Just
right.
stop it.
Let's move on to this week's games. First of all, we're going to go over the games that we all agree on. We all agree that Buffalo is going to beat Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. We all agree that New England is going to beat Minnesota on Thanksgiving Day.
Yes.
Take that to the bank.
I kind of agree with that too.
You
Kind
have
of
to
we talked
agree with
about.
it. You picked them.
Why not? But Minnesota's kind of a paper team, and I think New England is just going to be too much for them.
Defense.
I think exactly what you saw in the Dallas game is going to happen in this game. Kirk Cousins won't have time.
Yep.
It's going to be an ugly game, low scoring,
Yep.
but New England will come out on top.
New England won't run away with it like Dallas did, but they will stop them and hold them down under 10 points,
Yep.
10, 14 points.
We all agree that Tampa Bay will beat Cleveland. We all agree that Tennessee will beat Cincinnati in a very good game too.
That'll be a good game.
I can't believe we all agreed on that.
I know it. I was kind of surprised too. We all believe that Miami will beat Houston.
Yes.
We all agree that Baltimore will beat Jacksonville.
Yes.
We all agree that the LA Chargers will beat Arizona. We all agree that Kansas City will beat the LA Rams. We all agree that San Francisco will beat New Orleans. We all agree that Philadelphia will beat Green Bay.
But that won't surprise me if Green Bay finally wins one.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's at Lambeau.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
at Lambeau. You
No,
never know what
it's
you
at-
have.
it's
No,
Green
it's
Bay.
at
It's at Philly.
Philadelphia.
Oh, I thought it was at Philly.
No,
It's at
it's
Philly.
in
It is in
Philadelphia.
Philly.
So-
That's why I picked them. Because I really think that Green Bay's due for a win.
We had a bunch of games that we disagreed on. A couple of games that we disagreed on. Chicago and the Jets. Brian took Chicago. Jeff and I took the Jets. We also disagreed on excuse me, Philadelphia or Pittsburgh and Indianapolis on Monday night. Me and Brian took Indianapolis. Jeff took Pittsburgh. And we also disagreed on
Let's just get into it. Giants, Dallas, Thanksgiving Day. This is the battle for the NFC East. The
Just
winner
been-
of this
oh my
game
God.
will win the NFC East.
No.
Just been
because
chomping at the
Philadelphia will fail
No.
to finish this season
No.
out.
Nope.
Dallas is going to beat them twice, and Giants are going to beat them twice. Knocking them out, the winner of this game will be the deciding factor of who wins the
Okay,
NFC
so let's
Wait,
let's,
hold on a
just, let's
second.
let's back up one step. So we disagree on the Giants and Dallas. Brian and I took Dallas. Jeff took the Giants. We already know why Jeff took the Giants.
because they're going to
What do you
win.
think,
That's
Ryan?
why.
I think that Dallas is finally starting to get it together. The Giants are hurt.
We're going to go back to what you said.
All they have is Saquon Barkley.
Dallas? No, they have more than
That's
that.
all they got.
Stop
is
it. They
Saquon
have
Barkley.
they have a solid defense that's opportunistic. They're second in the league in interceptions. They are moving in the right direction.
Daniel Jones won't know what
I was
to
going to say,
do.
they still got Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones will not know what to do.
Dallas
He will turn
will
over the
do
ball.
Dallas things. They are going to lose this game on Thanksgiving Day because the pressure is mounting. They're going to come off this Minnesota win, walk into this game. We're playing at home. We just beat Minnesota. We got this. Woo, we're good. And Dak Prescott's going to go back there and throw 3 interceptions on the day.
Woo! You just lost to Detroit.
That's why we're mad.
Detroit.
That's why Giants are mad.
That's why we're mad. Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming off a loss. And a loss no one's seen coming and shouldn't have happened.
I don't see the Giants with a number 1 receiver that can beat Trayvon Diggs. I just don't see it.
We're not going to throw his way.
Yeah, I know.
You won't be able to.
Yeah.
So,
We're not. We're not going to test that.
And I don't see anybody on the Giants defense stopping that run game.
no.
I mean, I think that's going to be tough for him. I like
I
Jeff's,
agree, it's
I like
gonna be
Jeff's
tough.
enthusiasm, but I just think it's going to be tough.
Dallas is going to
Micah-
do what Dallas does.
Micah Parsons will have 2+ sacks in this game.
Absolutely.
2+.
I don't
Absolutely.
doubt it. I don't doubt it.
But
All right.
Prescott's going to get sacked too.
Nah.
Absolutely. Yep.
No.
Dallas is deep. Giants defense is going to win this game ultimately.
All right.
That's my
all right.
take.
Let's get on to the next
Heard it here
game.
first.
Let's get on to the next game that we disagree on. Atlanta at Washington. Jeff and I took Washington. Brian took Atlanta. Brian, why'd you take Atlanta?
I think Atlanta's on a high right now. They won a gritty game against Chicago.
You've been saying Atlanta's been
and-
on a high for 4 weeks.
And the thing is, Washington's going to be on a low. They've won 2 straight. Atlanta's defense is going to
What's
get
Atlanta's
after
record?
Heineke.
4.
4.
No, they're 5. They won 5. They're 4 and 5.
Are they 5 and 5?
Are they 5 and 5?
They're 5 and
They're 5
5.
and 5.
They're 500.
They are.
They're
No.
1 game behind.
What's Tampa's record then? Because Tampa's got them by 1 or half game.
6-4. Tampa 6-4.
We'll have to fact check.
Yeah, we'll have to fact check is right. I think getting back to that game though, I think Washington. Tyler Heineke's been playing really well lately.
Yes, he is.
I think what's Washington won like 3 games in a row. He's kind of the leader of that team. He's kind of taking that team underneath his wing and kind of decided, you know what, I'm going to lead us. We're going to go.
He is.
We're going to go where I
For
take
now.
us.
Do you know what he's proved?
For now.
He proved that Wentz is nothing but a backup quarterback in the NFL.
We'll wait. We'll see.
You avoid this conversation.
I'm not avoiding
Oh,
that.
over there, he's a Wentz man. He thinks Wentz is an MVP, should be the starting quarterback of everything. He was pissed when Philadelphia let him go. They became a better team when he got hurt. They won a Super Bowl when he got hurt. They became a better team when they kicked him off the team and sent him to exile down in Indianapolis. And now Washington has become a better team because he got hurt over his fucking pinky.
As a boy from the Dakotas, I always liked Carson Wentz, but I kind of get what Jeff's saying too. I mean, I think Heineke is a better quarterback than Wentz.
Absolutely.
Conversation for another time.
Yeah. So let's get on to the last game that we disagree on. Las Vegas at Seattle. Jeff and I took Seattle. Brian took Las Vegas. Brian, why'd you take Las Vegas?
I think after coming off a win, and honestly, McDaniel's coaching first job. They got to get something rolling. They played really well. I just think they're going to put together a winning streak here a little bit. So,
I agree. McDaniels is coaching for his job.
can they really afford to? Can they really afford to fire him? No.
They don't have the capital to fire him.
Yeah, it's the thing is they're in a bad spot. They got to get it turned around.
Yeah.
And is this the time they're going to turn it around?
Yeah, and they beat Denver in overtime on kind of a play to Devontae Adams that nobody covered him.
I know no
Somebody
one
should have
agrees with
covered him.
me. Denver's a horrible team.
Denver is a horrible team.
They're a
Denver's got a
bad
good defense, but they are a horrible team.
You're not gaining momentum by beating Denver.
They have a terrible
I agree
coach.
with that too. I agree with that too. And not only the reason why I picked Seattle too is it's tough to go into Seattle and win a game.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the
Their
toughest places to
fans
play in the NFL.
are fanatics. That place is loud.
Yeah.
And their defense is always up for the task. They're well coached.
Yeah.
That's a well coached group.
You know, and Kenneth Walker's proved himself to be a dang good running back.
Yes. Yes, he is.
And you know, Geno Smith's having a heck of a year. Got good receivers to throw the ball to.
Geno's coming down to earth
I
really
just-
quickly.
And Geno could very well come down to earth, and I want that to happen. Being a 49ers fan and being in their same division, I hate to see chickens.
But the Raiders don't have a defense to bring them down to earth.
Yeah, I
They
agree with
really
that.
don't.
I agree with that. It's not the Raiders' time to do that.
Nah.
I think.
I think Seattle rolls them.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't even know if I think that'll be a close game. I think Seattle kind of takes them
Runs
behind the
away.
woodshed and just beats them.
Time will tell.
Yeah, you're exactly right. All right, that wraps up our recap of last week and our picks for the next week.